is the North End. This is the North End.
Hey guys, JP, California, coming to you guys from, well, a really kind of gloomy, overcast, almost foggy morning here in Southern California. Not every day is perfect. The weather's been really nice, mid 80s, high 70s all the time. And while things have been sunny today, they got really gloomy for Aston Villa as they fell finally 1-0 to Manchester United at Old Trafford. That's 20 games that Aston Villa had scored in, and it has finally come to an end. There's a 10-game unbeaten run that has come to an end, and there's always a time for it to come to an end. There's always going to be an end. I just really wished Villa had done a little bit more to get a goal. But let's go over these 5 things we learned about Aston Villa against Manchester United. And before we do, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Get after the video. If you guys are a United fan, you can tell me what load of shit I'm talking and I didn't know what I'm talking about. You can call it Villa bias, which is clearly evident. Villa fans, you can come at me, tell me I'm wrong. I just keep thinking how I look off when I think, and I have to like reset myself. So, you know, trying to become a better presenter for you guys. But please like and subscribe, get after us, tell us what you guys think, and help us grow the channel. I want to try and get this video just something small, 15 likes. That's all I want, 15 likes. If we can hit 15 likes, I will be happy. Here we go, 5 things. Number 1, long balls. Aston Villa has not been giving a lot of long balls in the last, I would say 10 weeks, but it's almost been 15 weeks now. Emery has really channeled into Aston Villa to hold the ball, control it, wait until openings show and exploit the open spaces, maybe even make a team crunch to one side, leaving space on the other side and then swing it around. But not very often have we had long balls to the level that we did. The amount of long balls that we sent today and that we kicked represented to me a foregone era of Steven Gerrard and Steve Bruce. I was shocked at the amount of long balls that we went for up to Oli Watkins or out to outside mids even. And the biggest problem wasn't that we were doing long balls, but we weren't winning them. We weren't even winning the second balls. We were notoriously poor on long ball reception today, and it was very evident to see. Their goal literally came from Emi Martinez kicking it, BUENDIA, who's like 5'7", getting up to flick the ball or to head it coming right back down our throat to Rashford, who's on side, who has an early shot. It pummels out to Fernandez, and he finishes it. And that was just one exception of how the long ball really hurt us today. It's almost like the goal that Man U did score was a self-inflicting wound because we played a style that we haven't been playing to a guy that's 5'7". He's literally shorter than me, and we just couldn't do anything with it. It was really disheartening to see as a Villa fan, and I think it just summed up our game plan today, which to me wasn't good enough. The players weren't good enough, and the quality that we have seen over the last few weeks wasn't there. Maybe the guys are tired, and with tired legs comes poor decision making. But the idea of going long against a Manchester United team that has some really tall characters in it just seemed really foolish to me, and really kind of shown throughout. Number 2, disconnect. Oli Watkins, Emi BUENDIA were super disconnected today. And it's not the first time. Last game, Oli Watkins gets up for a header. He heads it back towards Emi BUENDIA. It misses BUENDIA, and then BUENDIA stops play to scream at Oli Watkins. And Oli Watkins stopped play to scream back at him. We saw this moment last game where they kind of fell into this little like heated argument between 2 teammates because they're not linking up. One wants one thing done and the other wants the other thing done. And I just felt like the disconnect between our strikers was really evident today. And the weird thing was, Oli Watkins teams up with Jacob Ramsey better. He teams up with John McGinn better. But him and BUENDIA just seem to be very much on the wrong page. And I don't know if it's from the fact that they're both different nationalities and they grew up playing different styles, or what it was, but it was just really poor today with the connection, or just the midfield connecting with our forward line. There was just a lot of disconnect for me. The only real opportunity, Emi Buendia got the ball in the middle of the field. Oli Watkins opened wide into a channel, and we played him through, and we had a nice little counterattack. But it's just not good enough. So number 2, disconnects. Number 3, strikers. Strikers, which is going to sound similar to what I was just talking about, but in a different vein. We've had Oli Watkins and Emi Buendia up like 8 of the last 10 games. We've had Bertrand Traore, who scored 2 goals when he came back, but has since been pretty sporadic. John McGinn, who I personally like playing up top with Oli Watkins. He gives a lot of energy, but he's not, that's not his best spot, really. And so what I'm saying is Villa need a striker, and we need a striker bad. And from all accounts, all reports that we're hearing, Aston Villa is planning to bring on a striker. And there's a lot of whispers that Aston Villa have actually signed a striker already on a pre-agreement for this summer. I'm kind of looking at either Marcus Thuram, or there's another Frenchman playing in France right now that could potentially be coming over. But Villa need another striker, and a lot of Villa fans are really putting their hopes on our young Archer, who's tearing it up in the championship. And for me, I don't know if he's going to make that jump. I can't tell you. And I know his goal-scoring record in the championship is good. He's also 5'7". He's pretty small. He's quick, but he's small. And he just seems like he's a striker that pops up in the right places. And strikers for me should always be doing that. That isn't like a championship thing. That's an every league thing, and you got to have a little bit of size and speed with you for the Premier League as well. And so I'm not 100% sold on Archer, and I think Unai Emery will be going out and getting a top level striker to team with Oli Watkins to support each other this summer. Number 4, Emi Buendia, bringing it back to this disconnect. Emi Buendia was tied for the worst who scored rating for Villa today at 5.9. He teamed with Jacob Ramsey, but I thought Jacob Ramsey had a much better game in the second half. Emi Buendia is struggling for form, and for me the big issues is him being dispossessed. He was dispossessed 3 times, and he had 4 misplaced touches for 4 dispossessions in another way. So that's an altogether grouping of losing the ball 7 times. Not to mention he was the guy who went up for the header, and I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that I don't think he is playing at his best right now. He seems to be on a different wavelength than a lot of players, and it's really showing for me. He's done very little overall contribution this season. I think he literally has like 2 or 3 goals and only 1 or 2 assists. And for a guy who's gotten 30-plus games, that's just too low for an attacking player. And I get a lot of Villa fans are going to be like, yeah, but he's the guy who tries stuff. Yeah, but he also only had a 57% pass rating. 57%. He was the lowest in the Villa team as an outfield player to try and connect. It was abysmal from him and his standards today. And so when we get a new striker, I do believe Emi Buendia will be going to the bench. I think Philip Coutinho probably will be on his way, and I think Emi Buendia has a greater sell-on value and somebody will keep for a little bit longer. I just think he needs a round of sitting on the bench to kind of get his head straight and reconnect with what the team's chemistry is and not just what he wants it to be. So Emi Buendia, I hope he can figure it out, but he's my number 4. To me, he reminds me a little bit of Bailey, who just seems to be misfiring somehow. And number 5, and I've talked about this a few times, we at the podcast or the YouTube channel have talked about this a few times, but the ref standard today was just abysmal. I don't understand how Casemiro can get by without getting at least a yellow card. I honestly think it could have been a red card. He comes sliding into Jacob Ramsey in the first half. He goes into Jacob Ramsey's standing foot after the ball isn't just off his foot, but it's like 7 or 8 yards away. It was a terrible, terrible foul for Casemiro, and how he escapes with the yellow card is beyond me. I also think that the reffing needs to be upped in what they show the fans. Villa fans will be a little bit grieved to see the goal on replay of where Rashford gets in, But if you get as close to stop as possible, I don't know if he was on sides. And now we don't get the image, but the one they showed on TV actually looked like he was offsides a little bit. And some of my Man United fans here on the channel will say, oh, well, it was a bad angle. Well, the TV punditry, the reffing, they need to slow that down and show that to the fans so the fans can understand what's happening. I think the time has come for the communication between the ref and the VAR to be broadcasted on the television for fans. And obviously, I have to watch via television. I can't just go to games as I live in California. That's a $1,500 flight. But they need to do that so fans can understand where they're coming from. Otherwise, they are going to become the most hated entity above Bruno Fernandes in the EPL. The fan standard this year has been just so poor. I also think that, like we rate players, and there's many different channels and websites that rate players, I believe the refs should be rated quite heavily as well. I know there's ones where ESPN comes out and says, oh, was this a foul? Was this an offsides? Was this the right call? Was this the right call? I think there needs to be more than that. I think there needs to be a study of reffing decisions. I think there needs to be an understanding that referees are human and make mistakes, but there's also a way that we can criticize to make them better and to make the EPL better. And I'm really worried that the standard of the EPL reffing is so low these days. I mean, it is below MLS standard in my opinion. So hopefully we can get after that. So guys, that's the 5 things we learned from Aston Villa. Long ball issues, number 1. Number 2, disconnect between the forwards and the midfield. Number 3, Villa need a striker. Number 4, BUENDIA. Obviously there's a theme here with up top play for Villa. And number 5, the reffing standard is just terrible. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get under 2 gigs so I can upload it quickly. Guys, have a great day.
This is the North End.